Okay, today we're going to go over things that you don't know about the aerial application industry. First of all,
180 acres right now, 5 gallons. Stan's the pilot, and putting it on Milo ground. We're actually killing the weeds to get ready for Milo to come up. And we're on our second load outside. There's my trusty BlackBerry, and here's my book that I do my scheduling in. Match our main schedule book. So Robert, what's one of the most surprising things that you've noticed being here at Southern Aire Flying Service?
The incredible paint job and what I'm sure is the experience of your father and his wealth of knowledge in the ag aviation industry. It's incredible, and I'm sure he's going to demonstrate that shortly.
I agree.
Pull your bill up just a little bit. All right, Steve.
Okay. We're talking today with Stan Ferguson, and you are the owner, is that right, of Southern Aire Flight Service?
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Southern Aire, A-I-R-E, Stan Ferguson. And Stan, we're just going to talk a little bit about the plane first, and then we're going to get into talking about the business of ag aviation right now.
Okay.
From your perspective.
It costs us time, and now time is money. The cost of these airplanes are, it's hard for me to even say how much they cost, but still, again, it's a big business, and their safety factor, you mentioned a few minutes ago, as long as you pay attention and you take care of business, and you be responsible in your duties, then it's safer than the drive to work. That's the way I look at it.
Well, and you kind of hit on one of the things I was going to ask about. Much like agricultural producers have a large investment, they have combines and tractors, and that's an impediment for young people getting involved in fishing. Planes, that capital equipment is perhaps an impediment to the young people getting into this industry. Reason.
Well,
what are some of the
rule of thumb?
What are some of the impediments to people getting into this industry?
Number one, being able to get insured. If you're insured, then an operator doesn't mind having an inexperienced person run their equipment because they're going to train them. The obvious way for someone to get into this business is through the family business. Someone's father being in it, either a pilot or an owner operator. So it makes it easier for them. They're more likely to be able to be accepted with the insurance companies. The bad thing about it is it's a catch-22. A young man says, I want to do this. He has the desire to do it, and that's the kind that makes the best pilots. Is someone who wants to do it more than anything else. Yet their obstacles are getting flying time. You got to have experience so you can get insurance. How you going to get experience? You got to fly. Okay, well, very few operators now have the old surplus planes that we were talking about, or the least expensive airplanes. They don't run those very often. So it's hard for a new pilot to get in this business, and we need to do something about it. maintain a certain level of business to pay for all of that. And that's a big investment for the people who are in this business. So years ago, our industry was full of men who wanted to fly, but they didn't have any idea how to conduct business. And so that's a reality of life. You have to be able to conduct business in a successful way to stay with it. So we've had a lot of people go out of business. In any other occupation, just like carpenters or painters or salesmen, you have people who don't have the ethics that I consider good ethics. And so you have a lot of failures in that situation where you have people come in business, they fly for customers, and then they go out of business, and then those customers are still here, and they need to find somebody to do their custom work. My customers look at me as part of their success in their business. They plan on me flying for them, just as they plan on that combine or that cotton picker, that planter that costs so much money, is performing for them when they need it. The farming is a seasonal business. You got the seeding, then you've got the growing season, then you got the harvest season, and so they separate all of that just like we do with them. So we're hand in hand in this business. Pretty old for an average. You have several people older than myself that's still in it. And the young people that are coming up, it's like any other trend. They have other interests. A lot of times they don't want to stay on the farm. The farm is old news to the younger generation. So we have less and less young men or women getting involved in our industry. So, and we recognize this, so our National Association is doing their best to try to implement some interest and pilots to get into our business because we need it. The country needs it. The economy needs it. Most of your average citizen sees an airplane flying around here and they just think crop duster, which is something of back in the 50s and 60s was, World War II surplus. But now it's a big business. It is a modern business. It has a lot of technical, logical breakthroughs with the guidance systems. The spray systems is hooked up to the guidance systems. Hence, you can do a prescription application just using the computers. So it's not something that's just...
Keep the camera on it, but I want you to look back at me here in a second and get a picture.
Tell me when. Heck yeah!